Welcome to Quality Insights Quick Start QAPI resources that are designed to help you get any performance improvement project up and running quickly. Julie Kueker, the Reducing Healthcare Acquired Conditions in Nursing Homes Network Task Lead, will review a topic-specific Quick Start guide. Today's topic that we're going to take a look at is falls reduction. And at this time, I'd like to turn the session over to Julie.
Thank you, Krista. In this session, we are going to help you and review how to start your QAPI project, that performance improvement project on fall prevention and fall management. So in this session, let's start off by understanding what is the need. And according to the CDC, falls are a threat to the health of older adults and can reduce their ability to remain independent. Falls are not an inevitable part of aging. Falls are the leading cause of fatal and non-fatal among adults aged 65 and older, which makes this a very important and needful performance improvement project for you. In this quick guide, we will review the typical 3 elements found in most performance improvement projects, and they are a root cause analysis, setting a stretch yet attainable goal, an action plan to improve that contains that good plan for sustainability. So let's get started. We're going to choose team members to help us meet our goal. They are going to include that frontline staff. They have that good information that you are going to need to understand why your resident is falling or is at risk for falling. Don't forget to include the resident and or their family members in your quality improvement projects. They have a great voice and information that will help you succeed. Physical therapy activity staff might be included in our great ideas for team members. Key clinical staff, those folks with good hands on the project, and think outside the box. Maybe you want to include the maintenance guy, housekeeping. Who might have those eyes and ears? Someone from dietary, they see them every day in the dining room. Who might help you identify who's at a risk for a fall? And leadership, of course, needs to be completely on board. So when you're starting this project, you're going to want to gather your baseline data and that good initial project information. You have to know where you're going to know how to set goals to improve. So make sure that you have your CASPER report, run a current one. Your MDS coder can do that for you, as well as they can run that resident roster mix report. That one is important because it tells you and identifies which residents are in the numerator of this and other quality measures. You may want therapy and medication reports, get that pharmacist involved. And in the end, you may have to dig into the chart and do a chart review to get to those really good bottom sessions and reasons on why someone is at a fall risk or has fallen. And for this performance improvement project, your team will probably want to meet monthly, at least, to meet their goal. So step 1 in the typical performance improvement project, you want to do a root cause analysis. You'll keep asking why until you have identified those real causes to the problem. Now, it's an essential piece to any project because, number 1, it reviews all of the details to the problem, all the pieces that might be driving your fall rate. You're going to get all staff member input. This has a nice side effect of empowerment. They really can feel part of the project. Make sure in your root cause analysis that you focus on the process, the way that you do business, your current processes, your current policy, not people. Here is one tool that we can provide you here at Quality Insights to help you accomplish your root cause analysis. The first one here is the 5 Whys tool. It's very easy to use. You will label your problem, maybe your fall risk, your quality measure is too high, and why would that be? And you keep asking why of all of your team members until you get to the final root causes, and from there you can start to design your improvement work. Another root cause analysis tool that we have here at Quality Insights to help you is the fishbone. It may look complicated, but it actually is not. It's another one where you keep asking why. And the way I recommend folks use this tool is in your very first meeting. Whoever is your team champion does not have to be from leadership. It can be someone close to the issue or problem, a CNA team leader perhaps. But whoever is the champion of this project, they are going to go around the room and they are going to ask everyone, why do you think our rate is high? Why do you think we have a fall management problem? They're going to capture all of these ideas. And when they go back to their office or work area, they're going to write down all these reasons in the appropriate areas. And remember, there is no right answers or wrong answers. There is just your answers. And the reason we want a root cause analysis is because it will help you identify all those pieces that perhaps are playing a part into why your rate is high. It also helps you prioritize which items can be solved and which ones would have the most impactful impact for your residents. Step 2, we're going to set a goal for our QAPI performance improvement project because you have to quantify this improvement, this measurable improvement result without guessing if you've gotten better. It should be a stretch, yet attainable. It should be clearly stated and described to your team members about what you actually want to accomplish. And goals for your performance improvement project are best if they follow the SMART formula, meaning they are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. The goal-setting worksheet from the QAPI at-a-glance document from CMS, you will see the address at the bottom of the screen, contains all of these elements. So if you utilize your goal-setting worksheet, you will have this SMART formula built right in. And as you can see in our example document that we have here for setting your goals, when you state your business problem to be solved, you're going to include your current rate, what your goal is. You want to make it time-bound. You want to give yourself a specific time frame to improve so you don't flounder. It actually lists what measures that you're going to use. Are you going to use internal data tracking? Are you going to use a CASPER report? But as our recommendation, when you set your goal, take advantage of this QAPI at a glance goal setting worksheet. It will really help you set a great goal. Now it's time to improve. You need that action plan for improvement. It needs to be based on the tried and true problem-solving model of plan, do, study, act. So let's plan. So first, let's understand that quality measure, this public reported quality measure that falls with major injuries. Now, it is important to remember that CMS defines that fall with major injury as bone fracture, joint dislocation, closed head injuries with altered consciousness, subdural hematoma. When you look at the quality measure, it does relate back exactly how you're answering questions in the MDS. Now, this quality measure is important to note that someone who is in the numerator for your fall with major injury is in that numerator for several quarters, 3, possibly 4. And because of that, you may want to consider internal data tracking to identify improvement. Because if you're depending upon improvement to show up on this quality measure and it responds very slowly to changes on your MDS questions, that may disappoint the team if you don't have any internal data tracking to show that good improvement going forward. So on this particular performance improvement project, more than others, it is important to consider internal data tracking. So what is the tools that you're going to use to identify who to improve? How are we going to get them to improve? We offer several tools that are based on that PDSA model. One of which you see here on the screen is that fall risk assessment, so that you can identify what resident may be at risk for fall, who is at a moderate risk, a high risk. We also have that fall intervention care plan tool so that you compare it to the practice that you're already doing to see if there's an opportunity to improve in your project. You'll want to document those action steps for improvement. We have developed here at Quality Insights a QAPI Performance Improvement Planning Worksheet. Here you will delineate and identify all those steps that it took to improve. And as all of these example documents or these blank documents, reach out to Quality Insights, your Quality Improvement Specialist, or myself. My email address will be at the very last slide. Order and ask for all of these documents so you can have them at your disposal for your improvement project. But on these action steps, for example, you may want to develop a grid sheet of the time of fall, looking for patterns with time or shift. Maybe the pharmacist is putting in their input of who was the fall risk. You're making sure that all residents have a current fall risk assessment on file. And you've identified who has fallen, and have you done that really good, rich, and deep, detailed assessment looking for good reasons. You may also want to engage your CNAs, and here is a great technique. Make them fall scene investigators so that after a resident has fallen, or if they've come across a resident who has just fallen, make sure they're taught to ask the following. Ask them if they're okay. What were they trying to do? What was different this time? This is a great question, not just for your CNAs, but for activity, for nursing, for pharmacy. What was different this time? What position were they at? What was going on around them? Was it shift change? Was it noisy? Was there clutter? If they were trying to use the bathroom, what was the contents of the toilet? What was happening at the time? Look at the floor, their footwear. Were they trying to reach for their glasses or their assistive devices? And who was in the area so you can get more clues as to what actually happened. And here's some good questions for your team to consider as you're gathering those clues and evidence and answers to those questions of your fall scene investigators. Were there any patterns? Were they occurring at change of shift, at night, on one wing? Is it for reoccurring reasons? Did they need to toilet? They couldn't find the call bell. Do you have those stoic residents who don't want to bother the staff? And look for those causal relationships. Why did this really happen? Look beyond the usual reasons. Oh, she falls all the time. We're used to that. Remember your question. Was something different that time? Dig deeper. Don't forget to graph your improvement. Now remember, this quality measure, true enough, does respond a little slowly. But it's not without its merit, so do graph your improvement over time. And also consider using internal data tracking for this one. So perhaps you may want to track those residents who have a completed post-fall assessment within 2 hours. You may want to track those percent of residents with completed fall risk assessments on admission. Create your own internal quality measures. So in conclusion, make sure you use these following principles to be able to target areas of improvement for fall prevention. Make sure that you ground all your work in the QAPI process. You educate all staff, not just team members, but all staff on the improvement steps. You're going to assess system processes. Remember, focus on the way you do business, your policies, your procedures, not just people. You're going to perform a root cause analysis, set that stretch goal for the project. Make sure your improvement follows that plan, do, study, act methodology. Monitor process change to make sure improvement is happening. Learn from your challenges and celebrate your successes. Reach out to your quality improvement project coordinator here at Quality Insights or myself for assistance with any performance improvement project and getting started for QAPI. Once you have made the improvement and you've reached your goal, you do want to make sure that you sustain those gains. It's important to continue to monitor and educate so you don't backslide and we don't find ourselves 6 months later in the exact same boat where our rate is way too high. Celebrate successes to reward the hard work of improvement in your nursing home and of those great team members and of your staff. QAPI at a Glance does have a great sustainability decision guide. Take advantage of that as you document your performance improvement project, and you may want to download this and put it in your QAPI binder to use. We provided some resources for your performance improvement project so you can compare yourself to best practices, making sure that you have a performance improvement project that is laid out exactly how to meet your goal. And lastly, this is your opportunity to send me questions, order the blank documents you have found within this quick guide, or the example documents you have found within this quick guide. You see before you my email address. Please let me know if you enjoyed the program or if you need some further assistance or resources. It is our pleasure to help. And thank you very much for your quality improvement journey to improve the lives of the residents to which you serve.